Hello everyone and welcome to PlumesCast. My name is Seth, aka PhantasmaPlumes, and I'm coming to you pre-recorded from the game room. As always, I thank you for tuning in today. And that is officially the end of my script. Hello everybody, welcome to the first episode of PlumesCast. I am so excited to be here with y'all. I know this has been a long time coming from multiple demo reels that you guys may have or may not have seen. There's a lot of things that kept closer to me, and I was just like, man, this needs some work. And to have this finally up and going, have a page where I can upload everything, a working audio system that I can see the time going, I can see the little line going up. Nice. And just really being able to record the first episode, like official episode after all this time, just feels so invigorating. And I hope that some of my energy is getting out to all of y'all right now. Like, seriously, hope you're having a good afternoon, good morning, good night. If you're going to bed listening to this, sleep tight. But I'm just excited, yo. Like, this is a whole new ball game, and I don't know what I'm doing. Like most sports. But anyway, so, as I said, this is episode 1. Also, before I really get into it, Happy Lunar New Year, everybody. I swear I did not plan to start PlumesCast, with my star motif on the Lunar New Year. Just happened to line up, and you know what? It's a great way for me to remember it, because I am god-awful with dates. But, that said, I wanted to start, the whole PlumesCast series with kind of a, what is PlumesCast conversation, where I talk about who I am, because I realize that not everybody that's listening to this right now has ever had the opportunity to meet me. And if you're new, hi, hello, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I mean, I feel like I'm, Dora the Explorer, just like, hi, how are you today? 3, 2, 1. That's great! But I wanted to also talk about, the style of the show, and how the show runs, when you can expect it, how long it can be. I might do a little more, of a deeper, in-depth topic, kind of doing more in-depth with, PlumesCast stuff, depending on time, because, let's be fair, I can ramble. And then if I can, I actually already have the first topic received from chat about gacha gaming that I want to get into, and if I don't get into it this time, I will probably mark that in the description of this, because one of the key things about PlumesCast is I wanted this to be very much in the style of a Twitch broadcast, where it's not pre-recorded 100%. There's not a lot of editing that I can do prior to. I can do a bunch of effects and stuff and press buttons and be like, yay! But I wanted this to be, in that same vein of, I'm going to stumble over my words. I'm going to stumble over my thoughts a little bit. And I'm going to have other people here too. I wanted this to be an open channel for my friends to come on and us to have conversations and you guys be a part of it. I want to be able to impart Plume's pearls of wisdom, because there are many times when I'm talking on stream and somebody's like, hey, I'm having this kind of issue. And let's be 100% fair before I really go any deeper than that. I by no means am not a licensed psychiatrist, but if I can offer you some kind of advice, having experienced the world through 27 years, then I want to be able to do that. Because it kind of goes back to the whole reason why I started streaming, and I'll get to that a little bit later. But, at the end of the day, PlumesCast is whatever I really feel like talking about. I might come to y'all with a news story like, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news! Nintendo has destroyed all MP3s. If you want to listen to the Mother 3 soundtrack, you have to import the game and put it in your Game Boy, boys. Oh, dude. that's seriously like a whole conversation for another time. But I also, want it to be interactable with you guys. So that's why I've set up, and I will touch back on this later on. There's a Discord out that you can find for, the Plumes Paradise. It's my Discord for streams, for podcasts, and for other projects I get involved in. Like, usually every month or so, I will either be involved in some kind of charity event, or I will be supporting somebody else who is doing one. The past few times, I've been helping with my friend Osmaneku do DJ showcases, where he does a DJ set for charity. And usually I'm just in the background doing IT stuff, harassing chat, per the usual. Sometimes flirting. But, it's what the people want, and that's what the people get. But anyway, as I mentioned early on, I know this is probably the first time I've really talked with any of y'all. And I want to do a brief, I'm going to say brief. I like to ramble. I'm going to aim for the 60-second elevator speech of who I am. So, let's see if I can still do it. In 3, 2, 1. Hello, my name is Seth. I am a variety streamer on twitch.tv/PhantasmaPlumes. You can find me on Twitter @PhantasmaPlumes, and you can find me on YouTube by searching PhantasmaPlumes. I haven't gotten big enough to the point where I can put that on a channel page. I'm working on it. I really am. But like I said, I'm a variety streamer. I play a bunch of different games. Most recently, I've been playing Dokapon Kingdom with my best friend, Jaleel, aka Worldwide Simp Pie. I always want to mispronounce that, and I just want to make sure this is in recording. And this is one shot to get this right. So it's Worldwide Simp Pie. Well, he deserves recognition. Go give it to him. But we've been playing Dokapon Kingdom together Mondays at 8. Wednesdays, I've been playing Sakuna of Rice and Ruin at 8. And then Fridays, I listen to chat for recipes. And I cook. This week, I'm making a pork masala, which I am super excited for because I haven't had pork in a while. And really, I can't even really say that because my wonderful girlfriend, fox wife, garden mom, everything had done something super amazing for me. She went out and brought me lunch because I forgot mine at home, and it was just super nice of her. So Julia, if you're listening to this, thank you. I really appreciate it. I love you. Anyway, before I embarrass myself more on stream and in recording, essentially, as you can tell, I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I really try to bring energy into the room wherever I'm at. I am a system administrator currently. I'm gunning for a chief information officer position. So even though I'm kind of an idiot, I'm also really smart. Just don't ask me about history or geography because I can't. Dude, like, I used to be super amazingly good at remembering things, and nowadays not so much. Honestly, they were my weakest subjects in school because I could never manipulate them in a way that would help me. So like math, I could break down equations in practice and I understand it. Foreign languages, I can speak Spanish and Japanese. I could break down like the way you ask a question in Japanese. And of course now I'm blanking. Like, watashi no namae wa Seth desu. My name is Seth. Are no, sono no hito wa, God, my bless. Sono hito no namae wa nan desu ka? Which is, that guy over there, what's his name? Honestly, I could have done that a lot better. But, let's be fair. Anytime somebody asks you, like, oh, how do you say this? You're gonna trip over it. Unless it's your first language. And even if it is your first language, you're gonna trip over it. So, be kind. I swear I can speak Japanese, I promise. And honestly, I'm at like N4 proficiency, so I couldn't really go into the business world with it if I wanted to. But I can, do basic conversation, and my Spanish is kind of at that same point now too, despite the fact that I've studied both for like 6, 7, 8 years. But anyway, in my free time, I like to read. I like to be outside. I've been described as a sunflower where if I don't get enough sunshine, I get all depressed. So, it's kind of true. I like being out with my friends. I like being, just away from technology, which is strangely ironic considering that I'm recording a podcast in front of 3 monitors over a whirling computer. And I have made that my career path. But anyway, now that you kind of know a little bit about me, and of course if you have questions about me, there is an email address you can send questions, comments, concerns to. It is PlumesCast@gmail.com. These questions actually have a kind of key part in the show. So the style of the show is basically, like I said, conversations. And then I want to be able to offer Plumes Pearls of Wisdom. This is something that I've taken from my dad, where I kind of give some words of advice. Now, unfortunately, my father's no longer with us. He passed in 2016 due to cancer. But one thing that he would always stress to me is what he called Dad Man's Pearls of Wisdom. And he'd start it off like this. Boom. Oh, no. Hey, Boom. I think it's time for another Dad Man's Pearl of Wisdom. Or he'd have like some line and then he'd follow up with, and that was another Dad Man's Pearl of Wisdom. I'm just like, Jesus, Dad. But I wanted to do the same thing, not only in honor of him, but to kind of reach back to my community. Because as I was saying before previously, and if I've said it before, I apologize. But I've also done like multiple takes of this first podcast because I was just like, I want to make sure this one's perfect. Everything else after it can be whatever. I want this to be perfect. But anyway, I wanted to be able to have like conversations with you guys about, the things you're going through. I've noticed when I was doing cooking streams and I was actually able to, talk and have like actual full-on conversations because I'm not focusing on a game that's like trying to kick my ass. Like, hey, you guys actually want to talk about things, like talk about schoolwork, or I'm stressing out about this. And I wanted this to kind of be an additional avenue of, hey, I have this problem. What would you do in this situation? In fact, I actually from having PlumesCast demos open up, I have a couple of questions in from, a couple of the viewers. So I have one saved up on my screen now. We'll get to it a little bit later, so I think that lucky person will be very excited when he hears this question. But anyway, to kind of continue on about PlumesCast, and then, talk more about the overarching meta of PlumesCast and the Plumes cinematic universe. I just want to note this part. Podcasts will usually run for anywhere from like 30 minutes longer. 30 minutes right now is kind of my goal mark, just because I want to make sure I'm putting out enough content every week for you guys. And if you guys want a longer podcast, I can do a longer podcast. If you want a shorter podcast, I will fully understand why, and I'll do it shorter. But you guys can expect to see these every Sunday. This one's special because, obviously, first one, but usually Sundays, probably about 2 o'clock. I gotta do a little more research to figure out if I can automate that all the way through, so that way, at 2 o'clock, you get a nice notification from Spotify saying, hey, there's a new episode of PlumesCast. Plumes talks about rocks. Please don't make me talk about rocks. But I will say, though, going into why I decided to do PlumesCast in general, and, like, what were my inspirations and my hopes for the show, Like, I really went into this as a means to connect more with my fan base and, maybe meet some new people along the way. It's, if you're trying to be anything in any type of business, you really gotta spread yourself out to some degree. You don't want to spread yourself too thin because then you'll be, worn out and your content will suffer. But in this, crazy time we're in, I wanted to try and do just a little bit more. Because let's be fair. Even though I am a, part-time streamer, I stream 3 days a week for maybe 6 hours a week. Sometimes longer, depending on the cooking stream and how long that takes to cook. But I understand that compared to other content creators, I'm not putting out, all the clips all the time. There's a YouTube page, and I implore you to go look at it because I've been practicing, video editing skills, and it's been really fun figuring out how to do new and exciting things. This recent set of clips I'm super excited for. I can kind of give you a little bit into. From the previous Dokapon Kingdom stream, Jaleel and I had encountered what we call Lord Doritos. This is a monster that is basically a smoke cloud with eyes, but the eyes are just red and hazed over, and it's always looking left and right, left and... He looks like a smoke or a weed cloud. Let's be fair. He looks so high, and I'm just bruh. We first encountered Lord Doritos 6 years ago. And the memory of Lord Doritos still lives in our hearts. If you're following me on Twitter, actually after the stream, I posted a video of Jaleel and I just literally on the floor laughing our hearts out. Just because, this thing's so stupid. He's just sitting there. He doesn't do much of anything. He's OP if he hits you. But otherwise, we just gave him this full narrative of, he just was this dude that was out looking for Doritos. And he was just high as a kite. Or no, he was looking for Mountain Dew. And he went up to the mountains. If you play Dokapon Kingdom, the first time you will encounter Lord Doritos himself is in the top northwest. Yes, I just did the fucking north-south, or northeast-southwest on my hand. But it's, he's just chilling out in the mountains. And, he's just so derpy. So we gave him this voice. Alright, I gave him this voice. I was like, hey man, you know where I can find some Mountain Dew? And, that's how it started. Lord Doritos went up to the great mountains to find him some Mountain Dew. He wanted that vanity point to find his Mountain Dew. And he is still searching. Because every now and again, once you encounter him the first time, he will randomly appear. And every time he does, hey man, have you found the Doritos? Have you found the Mountain Dew? We have not gotten far enough in the game to see if there's a red palette swap, an angry Lord Doritos, but we have already decided if there is, that is Dew found Doritos, But anyway, I just went off a whole tangent. See, this is why I want to do the podcast, because I can go on full tangents, just talking to myself about things that happen on the stream. And, I hope that some of y'all are getting a laugh out of it. Or at least they're smiling and it's just man, that idiot. Ha 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 ha. It's okay. I'm used to being bullied. But it's, so, that kind of all bleeds into why I wanted to do podcast or PlumesCast. Because, in part of, I wanted to be able to communicate with you guys and be able to give you more, concrete, conversations and be able to give some life advice and be able to give some extra laughs. But mainly, too, I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, hey, I want to watch your stream live. I can't, and it sucks. I wish there was some way I could just listen to you in the car. How many people have come up and said that? Believe it or not, there's actually been 4 or 5. So I was just and I already was kind of thinking about doing a podcast, because to go into the inspirations, there is 2. The first one is Mr. Chris Abroad of the Abroad in Japan podcast. I really just look up to him and Pete Donaldson for continuously putting out, podcasts twice a week. And I know I'm just like advertising, the best way of living in Japan without actually being in Japan. But really, it's just inspiring, to see people that are both already putting out so much content to then further it out more and give a, solid way to talk back to their fans. Even though they, say that's not super popular, it has made my commute to work that much easier. And that commute to work is also another reason why I wanted to do PlumesCast. Because, let's be entirely fair, alright? Imagine with me. Don't close your eyes if you're driving, but imagine with me, okay? You are sitting in traffic. Nothing is moving. Hang on, I'll give you a little ASMR content. You're sitting in traffic. Nothing is moving. You want to continue on, but the brake lights continue on as far as you can see. Your songs, your favorite songs, do nothing as fatigue washes over you. You just want something to talk to. You try talking to yourself, and it's to no avail. You've talked to yourself all day. Why do you want to keep talking to yourself? So you reach down, and you turn off your music. And you scream in frustration. But wait! But wait! There's a cure for that, and that's a PlumesCast. No. I am so sorry for any headphones users. If I went back and did anything in post, I should put like a headphone warning incoming. But, I wanted to be kind of y'all's distraction. And this, kind of all goes back to why I started streaming. I started streaming back in like 2021, 2022-ish, or not 2022. This is 2022. I really started streaming back in like 2020 when the pandemic was going on and everybody was super depressed. And I wanted to be just inspiration. I wanted to give joy. I wanted to spread joy. And honestly, if I'm repeating this, I apologize. That's why I'm making this part quick. But I wanted to spread joy. I wanted to give people a reason to smile, to laugh. And I think doing streams did that. Like, a lot of people have come up and said, hey, you make me smile. I look forward to your streams. I look forward to laughing with you. I look forward to laughing at you. Those hurt a little bit. But it's, all in all, it's been just an overall positive experience. And I kind of want to extend that reach. And let's be fair, too. It's been really positive for me. It's given me an opportunity to express myself in a way that I couldn't do before. And, especially because I work a secluded job by nature. I'm a sysadmin. I basically make sure all the computer stuff works. I also test new things. I also bring in new equipment. I don't get to decide the budget. I'm not at that point yet. But, I'm getting there. But I didn't get to talk to people. I didn't get to, have conversations. And, especially at my job, I didn't really get to talk to people around my age. So I couldn't make the jokes I wanted to make or talk about the things I wanted to talk about. And because of, streaming, I was able to, develop into my personality that much more. And I hope in some regard I've inspired some people like Chris Broad has inspired me. It may not be many people, but if I'm making one person smile a day, like one more person that wasn't going to smile, then I did a damn good job that day. And I'm proud of that. But anyway, excuse me. Now to kind of tie it all back, and that kind of really went on for hopes of the show too. I really do just want this to be, your excuse, your escape, your, couple of minutes to just vibe out and enjoy, just chilling and listening to me and my radio voice. Yes. And all the wacky voices I can do. But, oh, that's right. I apologize for this in advance. I truly do. But I promised my girlfriend I would oh! Alright, I got it all out of my system. It's good. It's great. Oh, man. Alright, so I think that's enough to kind of give y'all what PlumesCast is about and give you a good little introduction to me and everything else. So I want to move on to the question of the night. So this was received by Jello, a longtime viewer of the show, and he asked, "Hang on, I'll give it a little vocal warm up." As we all know, our planet is dying at a fast pace. We have done so much irreparable damage to the Earth. Let's say you have a choice to completely reset the Earth. It will be just a rock, and we will have to rely on an asteroid to give us water and hope for something to evolve. There's no guarantee that anything and Earth might become an empty husk. I'm reading this word for word. The other option is to let Earth slowly rot and watch materials diminish and slowly deplete. He really didn't ask much of a question there, but at the same time, like, it's like the trolley example, you either pull the lever and one person dies, or you don't pull the lever and 5 people die. There's like a whole bunch of different variations of it. If you Google trolley issue, you will find what I'm talking about. But it's an interesting question, because honestly, global warming is a big hit topic right now. It's been a big topic, but with the evolution of NFTs and crypto basically sucking energy like, a fat kid sucks soda through a straw, it really kind of makes you think, how far can we really press the resources that we have before everything starts to diminish to nothingness? I didn't know this, and it's thanks to Smiling Friends, the Adult Swim show, that I heard about this. But in like 10 to 15 years, we will have no helium left on the planet Earth. Apparently, it's a finite resource, and we've just been using it for balloons. And honestly, I would do it too, honestly. If I could do it all again, I would. I love seeing balloons in the air. But it's just an interesting question, because it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Honestly, in the current state of the world, I would say leave things as they are. Like, I would not reset anything, because if you reset something, right, you basically stop all human progress, and that nearly guarantees death. Now, you say, like, oh, well, the Earth will slowly rot and watch its materials diminish and slowly deplete. We're already kind of living that. So really what we need to do is use the remaining resources that we have and find some type of either renewable solution or start looking beyond our own planet. It's a terrible mindset to think about, because let me be real, like, as cool as Elon Musk and SpaceX seem, I don't want to leave this planet. Like, and it's funny, because, like, when I was a kid, astronaut was one of my first goals. And the reason why I fell out of it was because I had a 7th grade physics teacher that hated me for no particular reason, that would forcibly grade me as incorrect, even though I had the same answers and same, like, proof as other students in the class. I do not know what vendetta she had against me, but it was like I hated physics from that moment on, because I had just such a bad taste in my mouth. And like even computing and all, to the level that I can do it, because let's be fair, I got my degree in, information security and assurance, which is basically cybersecurity. I never really wanted to work with technology like I have. It's only been like a series of coincidences that kind of opened my eyes to, oh man, I can really work with computers well. Crazy. I make the computer do the turn on. It do the good. But it's like, if I got the opportunity to fly up to, outside of the solar system, that'd be something completely different. If I could go up, like, do the SpaceX ride, be out in space for like 15 minutes, and then come back down, hell yeah, I'd do that. If I could go to the moon, hell yeah, I'd go. I want to see if moon rabbits are real, and if it's made of cheese, yo. I know it's not, but the moon rabbits, you never know. Toho has taught me a number of things, but I would do that in a heartbeat. But as far as like getting up and leaving Earth completely, I couldn't do it, especially if it meant going to terraform Mars. Because let's be entirely fair too, guys. Like, if you signed up for that program, and this is the thing that irks me, is people are like, oh, this Mars program is just a way for rich people to escape the planet after they've done their damage. To some degree, I do agree to that. I could see that. Like, you do it like Wall-E, and have them on like this Enterprise ship that takes care of all their needs. It costs like, I don't know, $100,000 to get one ticket on there, and then you're good. And like leave everyone else to do all the work. But at the same time, like, if you are one of the first goers to Mars, you're going to have to do a lot of work. Like, to even begin to terraform Mars, if that's even possible for us right now, you have to build, like, different shelters from the ground up, and you have no real protection from the hostilities of, being on a celestial planet or celestial body. And it's just, people that make the argument, it's just like, I can see where you're coming from, but at the same time, this would literally be a second hell to some degree, because you're constantly going to be working. If something breaks, you're going to be on the ground running, or everybody's going to die. In some regards, I can relate that back to IT, just because, it would be the most thankless job ever. But nobody's going to come and, pat you on the back. You're going to build out this entire system. It's going to work amazingly. And no one's going to say, hey, man, thank you so much. No, they're just going to be like, hey, man, there's a patch in the ozone, or there's a patch in the airlock. Oh, we're dying. Hurry up and fix it. Thanks. It'd be that sarcastic, like, thanks. Ooh. God, imagine a Karen on Mars. Ooh. Sorry, I didn't want this to be a horror podcast. So no, I would say we should use our remaining resources and do what we can as a population, because I will say, if the pandemic has taught us anything, we can definitely do a lot of good as far as limiting, our e-waste, our carbon footprint. Like, I don't know how many of you really remember it, because, like, these past few years have been a blur, and honestly, if it all blends together and you can't remember as well, I understand. But, like, at the start of COVID, when everything was locking down, and everybody was put within their houses, like, yo, you know how nice the roads were? Like, and how cheap gas was? Like, fortunately, unfortunately, depends on how you look at it. I was an essential worker. I was in the construction industry at the time. So I still had to go to work and go into the office to make sure all the systems were up and running, unless there was like an outbreak in the office, and then I could work from home. But I lived close to the office anyway. Like, I was maybe at worst 20 minutes away. But as soon as COVID traffic hit, I could get to and from in like 5 minutes. The lights were always green. It was nice. Didn't have to worry about accidents. Like, I hated it because I knew what it was, and I felt it kind of felt almost dystopian at times, because you're used to seeing so many people, and then there's nobody. But damn, did I have some fun drives. Oh, it was fun. I don't wish that back at all. But if I could just close my eyes and imagine clear roads, going down the highway, no cars in sight. Pure bliss. Pure shiose. But I believe we as humans, and just humanity in general, have a lot of saying power in global warming and the environmental damage that we do. And I believe it's going to be one of those, like, as bad as it is to say, it's going to be one of those situations where we're going to be falling on our face. Like, the doomsday clock has run out, and everybody's now in red alert to bring down carbon emissions and all. It'll take some type of, I hope not catastrophic event, but some major wake-up call to make, everybody realize, oh yeah, no, this is our planet. This is where we live. Let's fix it. And then it'll, get better for a little while. And hopefully, it won't be like most New Year's resolutions where you lose 2 pounds, plateau, and then gain 4 pounds by the end of the year. It's a little bit more, depending on your case. But I hope that, we actually stick with it. At least that's my hope and prayer. But anyway, I think I have been rambling for more than long enough for this first episode. Guys, seriously, I just want to say thank you all so much for listening in. Like I said, I hope this is the first of many. I'm really excited to bring other people on and have like conversations with them. But if you want to get involved with me and the show, make sure you drop a follow on Twitter at PhantasmaPlumes. Send your questions, comments, concerns, and pearls of wisdom request over to PlumesCast@gmail.com. And as always, guys, thank you so much for listening in, and I'll talk to you again from the stars very soon. Until next time, everyone, see ya!